The evidence-based medical review was an idea that was put forward to try to address the issue of how should physicians treat the data we have on clinical treatments of Parkinson's disease. And it's a knotty issue because we're an international organization and the availability of treatments is going to be different according to your geographical and cultural background. When you have a guideline, there's always the kind of haunting concern that if you don't follow the guideline, are you outside of what is called the clinical standard? And is there a legal aspect to that? And that's where a guideline, to me, is dangerous because it doesn't put you in the context of the very patient you're dealing with. So we took a different strategy, and I'm very pleased with this strategy because it's highly neutral. It's not culturally based. It is simply looking at the data. This is a different technique of just looking at evidence, and it doesn't tell you what to do. We look at, is there solid evidence that this is efficacious? Is it marginal? Is it not efficacious? Do we have insufficient data? And then we have a second tier that goes to clinical usefulness. Have we demonstrated that it is clinically useful? It just tells you what is the evidence. And then you have to mix that information along with your cultural background, your own personal experience, but you still have a base of just the pure science. As a practicing neurologist, I use this document. I go back to it, and it's very useful. I prefer this evidence-based approach, but I'm also very comfortable with being able to balance it relative to culture, the patient, my own experience, the opinion of others that I respect. All those things with this document make up my final decision, which could change over time. So this was an idea that we launched many years ago, and then we've updated it on a regular basis. The updating is so important because new data do come. It's not so difficult to update. The first edition was very long and very disciplined, but those data stay within the system. So each time you have the more modern update, you're reviewing just the new articles and reports relative to the anchor document. So I think this becomes a very practical and a very good exercise. And there's a whole scientific technique, a whole methodology. And the young people who take on this task with the senior physicians are learning this so they can pass the baton. So it has a kind of an educational element and a leadership element as well as a scientific element. I think it has the potential not only to serve as an anchor, but also to promote new ideas. We shouldn't be stuck with simply one document. The person who came forward with this idea, Christina Sampaio, who was not beforehand particularly involved with the Movement Disorder Society, but she came forward, made this suggestion, and as a presidential edict, I was invited to participate in that. But there are other ways that one could look at clinical questions, and methodology is so important. And I would hope that perhaps young members might say, well, gosh, I'm interested in this. Maybe I could suggest this to the officers and see whether a new project could come forward.